Alrighty, gonna see if this is working. Looks like I got the message that says I'm live. It says one current viewer, so I'm not sure if I'm talking to one of my patrons on Patreon or if it's just counting my regular view as a view. It looks like I got two, so I think I am actually talking to one of you guys from Patreon, or girls. I haven't kept track of all the names. Now, I think I did discover that I probably will need a faster computer to live stream. I've been doing a lot of work and trying to figure out, hit and miss, like what is working and what isn't working on my computer. And I can tell you right now, as data is very important for pretty much everything, the live stream is taking up 85% of my computer in terms of like speed and everything. So, alright, let me go take a look. It says one concurrent viewer. So if you can see me, if you can hear me, just say something in the chat. Otherwise, I might just be talking to myself. So I'll hang tight to get a response, because I'm not sure if the viewer is just the preview window. I know there's probably not going to be many, if any at all, in this live stream. I'm mainly using it to, of course I want to talk to you guys, but I do want to do a test and see how well the live streams work. I don't know how well they do work because of how much, that's interesting. I got to look at the specs of that. So it's taken up, it says a lot of memory, let's just say that. Taking up like a gig of memory. So don't mind me if give me a second if I don't see your comment. I'm just responding to a few other comments on YouTube in the meantime, and again, I might just be talking to myself right now. If I'm talking to anyone out there, say hi, especially if you're on Patreon. Hopefully people got the memo that it was 5:30 or 6 o'clock Eastern time, and not, Pacific, whatever else other time zones there are. I think there's Mountain Time, Central, and Pacific, I think. All right, I just got an extra viewer. Not sure if this again is just me on my phone loading up the thing, or if there's actually someone there. So if you can see and hear me, there is a little chat window. Just say, hey, I can see you, I can hear you. It's breaking up, it's pixely, which it may be because I'm still trying to figure out these live streams. I hope there's someone around. It's hard for me to tell, because I'm monitoring it both on my computer and on the phone, and I'm just not sure, if the viewers are me and the phone, or if it's not including me in this. But yeah, if you're viewing this live stream, just say there should be a chat window that you can type in. If you're on a phone, sometimes you may have to swipe up to get the little chat icon. You know what? Oh, let me go type it in. Hey, this is so there's about a 10 to 15 second delay, so hopefully I get a response. But let me go see how it looks on my end. This is mainly a technical stream, but I do want to talk to whoever's there, say hi, what's up, give you some, hey, you know, by the way, what's going on, all of this stuff. So it says the live stream is there. Gotta check Patreon, make sure I have the right link. So Patreon. Hey YouTube, oh, that wasn't it. Looks like it's on there. Okay, so that is showing up. Let me go see, what was that about on Patreon? If I click on this. Alright, so it looks like I do have the right live stream. See how the motion is. Alright, I think someone has joined me. I see 3 concurrent viewers. 2 of them, it's probably me. I don't know if 1 is me or 2 is me. But if you can see me and if you can hear me, alright, just put something in the comments section, who you are, you know, where you're from, and, you know, I can talk and say what's up. Yeah, it should be, I always start my live streams early because I don't know what's going to happen in terms of, you know, technical stuff. Right now, if I look at the data, yeah, it's like 90% of my computer usage is on the live stream, which doesn't leave much room for other stuff. That's why it's probably, if you're looking and you can see me and it's kind of like breaking up or lagging a bit, that's not on your end, that's on my end, and it's something that I'm kind of working on, trying to figure out, because when I go back and watch this, and even as I kind of watch this now, hear you loud and clear. Okay, Mark, for some reason the comment, what I think happened is the comment is coming out on Patreon and not the YouTube live stream, which is pretty interesting. So, wherever you're seeing to like type something, I have a question. Are you seeing me in the Patreon browser? Like as you're watching this live stream, does it have me on Patreon, or did it send you to like YouTube and you have the YouTube stuff? Let me know. So I'm just kind of curious, you know, where it's ended up, because I'm looking at my YouTube live stream studio and I see, you know, comments on there, but I haven't gotten anything on there. I just got your comment on Patreon, which I'm glad at least you guys, I think at least there's one person here, Vernon and Mark. Okay, well, this is interesting. So the comments are coming through on Patreon, which was kind of confusing me because I was looking for the comments on the YouTube studio, which I guess it doesn't matter where they come in at. I was just wondering where I was like, can anyone hear me? Can anyone see me? And I wasn't getting anything. All right, that's good to know. So, how are you guys doing tonight? It looks like so far I have Mark and Vernon joining me. I didn't expect too many people on this stream because I'm sure other people have a lot going on. I understand there's a football game going on right now, and that's probably going to cause it. It almost seems like I can't have a live stream anytime, because if it's not conflicting with 60 Minutes, it's conflicting with a football game. And if it's not a football game, it's local news. And if it's not the local news, it's a golf game or something. So, I appreciate you guys watching. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what's going on in my personal life. If you have any questions you would like to ask about antennas or me, feel free to do it. Pretty much what's been on my mind is a lot of house stuff that I have to work on. I recently bought a home about 2 months ago, and it needs some work. Nothing too major, but I need a new roof in the next few years, and I was also looking to get a dormer in the attic. So I have a 3rd floor walk-up attic. I'm sure you guys know what that is, old colonial house with a big window dormer that goes through. And I got a quote from a contractor that was reasonable. The rest were very unreasonable. And it's just like impossible to get a hold of the guy. Like, I've contacted the secretary. I've followed up at least 4 or 5 times saying, you know, I'm interested. I got the quote. I appreciate it. When do we move forward? And all I get is like, oh, he'll give you a call. Okay, your phone number is 570, blah, blah, blah. And the call never comes. And it's just kind of like annoying because I'm getting a mast to put on the, there's a back dormer, if you can follow this. There's a back dormer in the 3rd floor attic that leads to the roof above the 2nd floor. And from there, I can easily walk out on the top of my roof, put either a tripod or a flat roof mount. They're called flat roof mounts. It's like a tripod that you can set on a flat roof, put a few cinder blocks, and hold up a mast. I can't do that until the roof is, you know, replaced, because then I have to take it down and you know, get it out of their way. So it's just been kind of annoying and stuff like that, to say the least. So, yeah, so that's what I've been trying to do. And then I also have to replace the floors in one of my rooms. So I've been taking out the, it's like little vinyl sheets. So I've been taking that out. And the floors aren't totally even because it's an old colonial house, so I've been like, I wanted to hire a contractor, but with the way I've been dealing with the contractor for the roof, I've just been looking into doing it myself. Supposedly I need some leveling cement. I have to seal up some cracks, and leveling cement can level it out. But that's less antenna related, it's more personal stuff. So Vernon and Mark, whatever you guys want to ask, feel free, or if you just want me to say what I'm working on, the YouTube channel, it's all you. Just keep in mind, I may not see your comment right away. I have my little phone here, and I am refreshing it as the comments come in. But that's kind of cool that Patreon has the live stream within there, which is really cool. I'm going to take a look at my email and just see, because I made like a separate post, and I'm curious if they made another one. Yeah, so that's what it looks like. Let me go on here, watch now. This is all new to me, by the way, the whole live streaming on YouTube, but then it also goes on Patreon, which is pretty cool. Let me just see Patreon. So when I do it on my phone, it sends me to YouTube, but I'm guessing if I did it on a browser, it would stay within the web browser, which is totally fine. But a few things I'm working on the YouTube channel. Let me go load up the comments section, see if I got anything. A few things I'm working on the YouTube channel are just other topics I want to address. In the next few weeks. TV tuners you can get that have ATSC 3.0 tuners built into them. There's not many out there. There's Silicon Dust. They have their tuner. And they're pretty much sold out, and they couldn't even send me one. I thought it kind of made me laugh a bit, like, in a way, because Nick, the guy who's in charge of Silicon Dust, reached out to me in June and pretty much said, hey, we want to send you, a tuner. So then I said, that's great. I'll be able to do, the launch of ATSC 3.0 in Pittsburgh. So I was going to do that video. I told it on my YouTube channel, hey, I'm going to monitor the launch of ATSC 3.0 Pittsburgh. And pretty much what ended up happening was, I guess they sold out or something. So they said, oh, we're all out of tuners. We'll get you one in August. And I was like, okay, just let me know when you get one. And then August came around. They said, oh, sorry, we got rid of all the tuners. And part of me thinks, like, I'm not trying to be rude or anything. I'm totally fine. Like, I understand if you're sold out of the tuners. But it's like, do you realize my channel has about 100,000 followers, and I'm saying, hey, I can showcase your tuner in front of 100,000 people, and you're prioritizing some random dude in Alaska or something with the tuner. Again, I don't take it too offensively. I just thought from a business standpoint, it was kind of dumb to, kind of like push me aside, because if I showcase that tuner, like a lot of my ATSC 3.0 videos, they get a lot of views compared to my other videos. And, it's like, hey guys, if you want your name out there, I could be the guy to help you out. So I'm waiting on that, but get back to the main subject. There are like 3 or 4 TV sets you can buy, like at Best Buy, that have them, but they're not, I don't know if you'd necessarily want them, because I think the cheapest one was $1,000. and yeah, $1,000 for a TV. I guess what they do, and they did it when ATSC 1.0 launched. They put the tuners in the, you know, the new standard tuners in the high-end models. So the people that really want this tuner, they pay a premium for it. It's like when, you know, HD digital, you know, the over-the-air, when HD digital, you mainly saw really high-end models had the tuners, but you could go in the store and you would still see those box sets, you know, those CRT sets. I can kind of see history repeats itself. I can see the same thing where ATSC 3.0 tuners are in the high end, which is the case now. There's like 3 models, and then over time you'll see they'll become more and more prevalent, like, you know, in lower end models. But the low end models, the old ATSC 1.0 models, it's going to be comparable to like 2007. If you went in a Best Buy, you had those tube TVs, and then you had a few high definition TVs. And the high definition TVs had the digital tuners in them, but not the standard definition TVs. So I thought that was interesting to think about, that it's almost like history repeats itself, and that's exactly what's going on. So yeah. Well, thanks for the compliment, Mark. I'm as entertaining as Chris Fox or the Project Farm guy, so just keep talking. Yeah, I can talk my way out of a paper bag sometimes, so. Do you guys have any questions for me? I think it might just be Mark. I don't know if Vernon is still on, because I'm not sure. It's only saying I have 2 current viewers, which usually includes me. And, you know, I remember one guy, I don't think it was either of you, but there was another guy who was going to tune in, but he was watching the football game. But if you guys have any questions, let me know if it's just about antennas or what I do. While I'm waiting for questions, I'll give you guys a daily synopsis of my life as an antenna man, what I do when I get up every day. It's pretty much when I get up every day, I have a constant backlog of emails and like custom antenna recommendations and YouTube comments. So I wake up in the morning, I pretty much go through the custom recommendations that I invoiced the day before, and then I also schedule posts that I post on YouTube, I schedule posts on Patreon, and I like to have the post on Patreon different because, you know, you guys are supporting me directly, so I do like that. Vernon, you said, I'm very happy with the Televis Ellipse Mix, mounted on a chimney with 2 5-foot sections. Often get a good signal from Greenville, must be ducting. Still need to do grounding, also big trees. So the Televis Ellipse Mix, I got it and I tried it out at my old location, and I was pretty impressed with it. It worked. There's a lot of things going for that antenna. It has the, of course, the design. Televis is always innovating their designs. I can't tell you exactly what they're doing, but let's just say they're working on stuff. They have the preamp that auto adjusts. The only thing that I had told it to Javier is the guy with Televis, is I suggested there probably needs to be a little bit more VHF gain on the antenna. It's not the worst, you know, it has a single full dipole and then some reflectors and stuff, so it's gonna work well even in weak signal areas. But I found increasingly that the VHF stations are severely underpowered nationwide, where, you know, if you have a combo antenna, the UHF signals are coming in great, but then the VHF signals are all problematic because multiple factors, you know, they're lower power, so they don't penetrate as well through building material, subject to interference. And I think a lot of broadcasters, or maybe the FCC, really either under, I don't know if the word's under, they basically did not give them enough power to broadcast. It was ridiculous how low power when the digital transition first happened, that they like WPVI was like 1.5 kilowatts, to give you an idea, like the power of a consumer microwave. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's nothing. So I thought that was pretty crazy. But yeah, so Televis, I really look forward to including them on more of my antenna reviews, but of course the mast has to come in case one of you guys tuned in a little bit later. I have the issue where I am looking for, I need a new roof in the next like year or 2, but I'm looking to get a dormer in the attic so I can actually use it as a living space as opposed to it being an old-fashioned, you know, partially furnished attic. And the one guy I found that gave me a reasonable quote, it was like $10,000 compared to $30,000. They're just really hard to get a hold of, and it's nothing personal. It's essentially the equivalent of what happened with the FCC repack. COVID shut down all the roofers in Pennsylvania for 2 months. So the company has like a backlog that they're just trying to catch up the same way the tower crews are trying to catch up with the mess the FCC repack created. And again, it goes back to like I scheduled the estimate back in July. They came out. Then August, I called them and, I said, I'm interested. They said, okay, we'll give you a call. Didn't get a call. So I think I called another 2 times, the most recent one being about a week ago. And it was the same thing where, okay, he has to come back and, measure this window or blah, blah, blah. And he'll give you a call, the main big boss, and I never get that call. Supposedly that's normal for contractors. That's what I've read, that just in general, contractors are very poor at communication. And I can tell you they're very poor, at least the one I'm dealing with, very poor at communication. So it's one of those things. But I really want to get it done because once I have that complete, I can, I'm also waiting for the FCC repack mess to clean up, because in Philadelphia, I can now get the Philadelphia stations, the CBS stations at low power, the CW stations at low power, the ION stations at low power. They've been at low power for over a year. It's ridiculous, and it's not the station's fault. I mean, they're trying to get the work done, but when you only have a certain amount of tower crews, I don't think any of you guys would want to climb a giant 1,200-foot broadcast tower. It's pretty scary. I pretty much am almost done going up on roofs because I'm focusing on my YouTube channel full time. So it's a little bit about me, but this live stream is pretty cool because I think there's only 2 or 3 of you, so it's very one-on-one. It's almost like a conference, and I might experiment with Zoom at some point, see if I can include, instead of you guys just typing, you could talk as well. That's something I'm looking forward to as well, but I have to try out all the technical stuff, and I bet this broadcast is probably buffering a tiny bit or lagging. I'll find out when I watch the replay. In fact, I'll bring it up right now. I'm always curious to see how these go, because there's just so much behind the scenes that I have to configure. I wish it was just I plugged in the camera and hit go live and it worked. But there are just so many settings that I've constantly had to tweak, including the audio. The audio was off sync when I first started, so I had to go in the advanced settings and change the delay for it to work. And it looks like I think it's working now, so just give me a second. I'm gonna go on the Patreon link and see if it works. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. If it's just about antennas, or maybe what I know about certain things, or getting the best antenna. So I'm doing this just because there's a delay on my phone, and I want to see how movement shows up on this. So I probably look crazy to you guys right now doing this, but I want to see how it looks. There's a little bit of lag. I can understand that. I think I need a faster computer, which I'll work on getting at some point. I've had the same computer for about like 4 years, and it's not necessarily, it's good for video editing. I can do my video editing on it, but I'm looking and it's just like the live stream is just killing the bandwidth and everything. And I don't think it's my internet connection. It's more or less the settings and the software. But yeah, pretty much life's going all right. It's just a lot of YouTube and antenna stuff. Scheduling, figuring out what videos I'm going to do next. I do have like 2 advertisers that want, a paid review, and I'm always lazy about that because I like my own content first. So I got to schedule that in. One is, it's pretty cool. It's a little Wi-Fi and cell phone booster. I'm sure you've probably seen like cell phone boosters that you install on the roof. This one's like, it's about the size of a phone. It's a little bit bigger, and you just bring it with you, and it's supposed to help improve your cell phone reception. Maybe you put it like, if you're in a house that it doesn't the building material stops all the frequencies of the cell phone signals. You put like the little thing in the corner, and by a window, and it repeats the signal throughout the house. So I think that's kind of cool. It's something I'm going to be working on. So David asked, any guess on ATSC 3.0 becoming active to the Hartford area? That must be, it's interesting because your comment went on a different thread. It's not a big deal. But ATSC 3.0 in Hartford, I think it's, not to say that it's probably going to be at least a year. COVID screwed a lot of things up. The repack screwed a lot of things up. But the thing about ATSC 3.0 is that the companies that want to launch it are Nexstar, Sinclair, I think Scripps, and a few others. Tenga, I believe, was one. Tegna, I think it's Tegna. And Nexstar owns and operates the ABC station outside of Hartford, Connecticut. So they're the ones where that's what you kind of need in a market. If you live in a market with a Nexstar or Sinclair station, it's almost like, you know, they're able to be the host station. When I talked to the guys at Sinclair, they didn't mention Hartford because they don't have a Sinclair station there. I don't coordinate directly with Nexstar. I'm not a fan of Nexstar because they screwed up the local stations in my area. But Hartford and ATSC 3.0 in general, Hartford I'd say next 2 years maybe, possibly within the next year. And then the other markets, it's one of those things where they kind of announce them as they go on. I can read you guys in a second, like the markets that Marshall from Sinclair had mentioned. Just let me go see the other comments that I've gotten. Yeah, labor shortage issues. These are that check slower VHF signals. Yeah, I just wanted to check your Vernon and Mark. I didn't see your comment right away because I don't get the comments the way I do on the YouTube stream. They kind of come in as notifications, and then I have to check them. But let me go see what Marshall from Sinclair One Media told me the markets they were going to start deploying pretty soon. So just give me a second to load that up. But unfortunately, it wasn't Hartford. It was markets, because I was thinking if it's near me, I can set them up. All right, you guys ready for the markets? And I gotta change the white balance on here. So just give me a second. My camera, it's getting a little darker, so the white balance changes. There, that looks better. So the markets that Sinclair is working on for ATSC 3.0, and you guys are gonna find out probably way before like everyone else. The markets are San Antonio, Austin, Pensacola, Raleigh, I'm so bad with renouncing things, Raleigh, I think that's North Carolina, Oklahoma City, and Seattle, they said within the next 6 months. And it makes sense because those areas have Sinclair stations. Hartford doesn't have a Sinclair station as far as I know. They have a Nexstar station. And Nexstar has been, I don't know if Nexstar is really, Sinclair is very aggressive. I know if you guys know about the background of Sinclair, they do get some, negative press, if you want to call it that. There is some controversy with the company. If you know what I'm talking about, if you don't worry about it. But they are very, very, very good with over-the-air TV. Their engineer I met at CES, and he is very good. He made it clear we care about our over-the-air viewers, and we want to have, the best signals in the market to reach people, which is what most TV stations should do, but very few of them are doing it. And I noticed pretty much all the Sinclair stations and markets that I tested out had very good over-the-air signals. And Nexstar was the opposite. Nexstar had, those signals were always very bad. And it makes sense because Nexstar took away the two stations in my area, NBC and CBS from Scranton Wilkes-Barre. They used to have repeaters all throughout the area, like six different areas. And they're very well needed. The reception in my area is honestly worse than about 95% of America. And in the Poconos, it's worse than 99% of America based on my custom recommendations and the reception reports I've looked up. And Nexstar in 2010, they took them all away. They said, oh, our signals are good enough. And they just kind of kept quiet about it. And a lot of people lost out and lost the signal. And then they screwed up the combiner back 2 months ago. And almost everyone lost the signal. The signal was so bad, even I couldn't pick it up, and that's a problem. I can't pick it up. They weren't saying anything. They were just kind of like not saying anything on air, and that really pissed me off. Eventually it got fixed, but I don't trust Nexstar too much. I trust Sinclair. It's hard to say that you can trust any big media company, but Sinclair I see more, deploying this better. Nexstar, I think they're trying to figure out something. I think they're trying to figure out how to pair maybe ESPN on one of their stations for an additional fee, or data tracking. I think there's something they're working on. I can't be sure, and this is just my speculation. I think that's why they haven't really launched it yet. I've noticed that the areas that have launched it have been Sinclair. Sinclair's been like the pioneer. I think Scripps did like Arizona and Phoenix, I believe. So I just thought that was interesting. But yeah, ATSC 3.0 is very interesting right now because it's not government mandated, it's market mandated, meaning that no one's saying the stations have to convert. And so you have these media companies that each own 100, 200 stations, and they're committed to it because they're hoping that the other stations will see, oh well, this is actually really good what we can do with it, and then they deploy it, it becomes deployed nationwide. But what can also happen is that, let's say it launches in certain areas. It launches in all the areas I mentioned, the areas it's live now. One of the issues they're running into is some of the owned and operated TV stations that are the stations that are owned by like ABC, NBC, CBS, and not affiliated by another media company. And this is something that I kind of heard, and I'm not sure if I heard it wrong, but if I can, and again, take it with a grain of salt what I say, because this is more of a thing that I overheard. Some of the O&O stations aren't as interested in ATSC 3.0 for two reasons. They're having trouble getting them to sign on. The first reason is that there isn't really an equipment on the market right now. So if a station goes ATSC 3.0, they'll have like 5, antenna geeks like me get a tuner and be like, oh, this is kind of cool, but it's not gonna do stuff right away. And the other thing that was kind of like, made sense was that some of the stations didn't want to necessarily convert to ATSC 3.0 because they said, hey, if this standard is more robust and the people can get my signal easily, that's going to affect my retransmission fee, bottom line, and I don't want to do that. For those of you that don't know, pretty much all local TV stations get something called retransmission fees off cable and satellite TV services. So every subscriber they have, they get maybe like, let's say 50 cents or $1. They get paid. So if they have I almost said a bad word. If they have a very bad signal and someone can't get their signal, well, there's a good chance they may stay on cable and satellite, and that brings the station more money. Now, I don't think they mind if, there's 10% of people are using over-the-air TV. That's not bothering them. But if they launch a signal that's so easy to access and, that goes from 10% are watching over-the-air to 50%, that's going to impact the retransmission fees that's coming into the TV station. In my humble opinion, it's going to dry up someday anyway. I mean, the system's broken. People are leaving cable. No one's saying, oh, I'm tired of antennas, I'm going to cable. A lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people are going to antennas. The usage has gone up 10% 2009 to like 20% just less than 10 years later. I mean, it's really happening. And thanks to my YouTube channel, I don't want to say single-handedly, but I've discovered this crap. The signals were hard to get. But if you listen to what I say to do, the secrets, the portable TV tuner, the right antenna, pointing it towards the broadcast towers, you're in luck. You got it. But for the average person, they go on Amazon, type in HD antenna, they're not going to get it. And I don't know if that was intentional or not. I do know there are some broadcasters that generally care about over-the-air viewers. They put a lot of repeaters out there. They've worked on their tower. They've improved their signals. But there are others out there that just haven't done crap. Like for example, 6ABC. They've applied for power increases, but low VHF is just very, very noisy, and it's very hard for the average person to pick up. And you can output 1,000,000 watts on low VHF. It's not going to do much if someone doesn't have a low VHF capable antenna. And it just made me think. Fox 29, for example, in Philadelphia, they put a repeater in the Lehigh Valley. So if someone gets a junk antenna, they're at least able to get Fox, and they're at least able to get WFMZ in the Lehigh Valley. But even with me, it's hard to get ABC. And what's happening is I'm hoping that if people cut the cord and they can't get their signal, the broadcaster may say, oh, well, they'll just stay on cable and satellite and I'll get more money that way. But what will probably also happen is the people say, oh, I can't get 6ABC, I'll just watch NBC 10. I'll live without 6ABC. And then that'll eventually affect their ratings. It's not sustainable. I mean, the retransmission revenue, it's a lot of money. It's just going to the pockets of the CEOs of the big media companies. And it's just not, I just don't see it sustainable. You cannot draw blood from a stone, which is happening on cable and satellite services. You see like these little messages saying, you know, DirecTV took away your ABC station. Call them now to get it back. That's on the media company that owns the TV station. It's on them. What they do is they see, okay, well, we lost 5% of people that, you know, went to antennas. We lost that revenue. Let's go jack up our retransmission fees, run ads on our TV station so people blame the cable company, and eventually they'll give in and we'll get our money. There is some corruption behind the scenes, and no one knows about it. And I'm like, even just talking about it sounds like conspiracy talk, but I'm telling you, this stuff actually goes on. There's about I think it was $10 billion in retransmission fees was made back in 2018 from local TV stations. That's for free over-the-air TV signals charged for on cable and satellite. And again, don't get me wrong, there are some great stations out there. There are some engineers behind the scenes that really want to do well. Over-the-air TV free, it's going to be free for a while. I'd say decades, at least decades. In the very, very long term, as corruption happens, and that's why I'm trying to grow this channel as much as possible, there is a chance that they may eventually try to pull some crap when the retransmission fees dry up. And I want to be able to have this outlet to say what's going on and to make a clear public story about what's going to happen someday. I'm hoping for a lot of you, if you're over 50, 55, you're probably not going to have to worry about it. But when I'm 55, 60, 70, I can see them selling off more of the spectrum to the cell phone companies, and then next thing you know, all the stations are on low VHF and they're only offering standard definition. And it's, again, that's an out there prediction. I don't think it's likely to happen, but I know a lot about over the air. I know how the business works, and it's just one of those things that I can see happening down the road if you guys were able to follow all of that. I've been talking for a long time, so. Any other discussions you want to talk about? It's getting a little dark, so I'm probably going to wrap this up in about 10 minutes. I didn't plan for the sun setting in the sunroom where I'm at, so, and the light that I have here doesn't work, so it's just going to be darkness in a few, pretty soon. But yeah, comment if you have another question, or if you just want me to talk about anything specific. This live stream, I think, got some pretty good information. I think most of my YouTube channel isn't aware of the retransmission fees. I may mention it in like one or two of my videos, but they don't watch all the videos the full length, so they may not see it. But yeah, so what I'm probably doing after this is I have to think about, am I going to go to Lowe's and pick up some flooring and try flooring myself? Doesn't seem too complicated, but the sagging issue on the second floor where some of the floors are dipping in the middle, that I have to level out with supposedly leveling cement, and then I have to get a drill to, you know, to get the cement mixed together. And it's just one of those things where I'm trying to figure out, is this worth it for me to do it myself, or I'm going to screw it up and waste a ton of money? But the contractors are expensive, and I don't necessarily, not that I don't trust them, I'm tired of getting the runaround from the one, so I can only imagine what the runaround's like for another one doing my floor, so. All right, looks like I got a comment from Mark. What I find appalling are those PBS stations that went off the air for a fee per my YouTube idea. I had no idea. Yeah, so that video wasn't so much to call out PBS. Like, I understand that they have funding issues, and hang tight, guys. There's something that's going on. It's nothing bad, but I'll tell you in just a second. Just hang tight, guys. Don't worry, guys, it's nothing bad. I'll tell you in just a second. Hey, Justin. Okay, just don't say anything when you go out. I have a live stream going. All right, pretty much there is a cat, a neighborhood cat that my brother likes. It's a very friendly cat, and he's been waiting to see it, and it just came out, so I'm telling him to feed it and everything. But back to the main point that you had said about those PBS stations, I just didn't think it was fair, because it's like, it's not much money they're taking. They get federal funds, and they don't tell their viewers what's going on. They just said, we're moving our frequency, run a rescan. They didn't tell anyone. They went to the trash low VHF band, and so then their viewers are just in the dark. They don't know why they had WQED and, you know, the other PBS, I saw them do that, the other PBS stations were fine for decades, and then now suddenly they're crap. And that stuff has to be, you know, it really has to, there's transparency there should be. You know, we're supposed to trust PBS and other news sources for important information, yet they withhold that information from the public. Like, you know, I say in my YouTube videos, if I was paid for a review, I say, you know, I was compensated for this review because it provides transparency. But it just seems like that isn't really, that didn't happen. That really disappointed me for PBS. See the other thing. Okay, David, you bought the Wii Boost cell amp and it worked better than anticipated. So that was interesting. So I had a paid review, which was a cell phone booster. And what really surprised me, and hopefully you guys can still hear me. I think it's a little choppy, but I think you guys can at least hear me. What I thought was interesting was it really worked very, very well. I went from like almost no service to like 4 bars, which was really impressive. So, and it pretty much works the same way as an outdoor TV antenna. You know, you get the antenna and you mount, you know, you're going to get the best reception outside, and it just repeats in your house. It's almost like a regular cell phone is like one of those indoor antennas. It's not going to work as well, but you go outside, you're going to get much better signal. So, yeah, I'm glad it worked out for you. I thought it worked pretty well, and I was satisfied with it. So, yeah, that's about. So probably about 5 more minutes. If you have any last questions or anything you'd like me to talk about, feel free to leave it in the comments section. I do appreciate Mark, David, Vernon, and anyone else who may not have commented for joining me tonight. I'm going to rewatch this video and see how live stream works, and eventually I may have them back on my main channel, but I figured to do something with you guys in the meantime, just to, you know, sit and have a one-on-one like chat with me and everything like that. So, yeah, Mark, I agree. The PBS programs and the constant pledge drives, that always, almost every time I turned on PBS, I just saw them begging for money. And I get it. If you need money to operate, that's okay. But when it becomes just beg, like, you know, a 30-minute program becomes a 2-hour program because they're spending an hour and a half talking about how you should contribute to PBS, especially after some of them took like $100 million from the FCC, and that's what annoyed me. Like, I remember when it first happened, one of the PBS stations in my area took money to go off the air, and they went on a better signal, so their signal was better when they moved. But the newspaper had asked, they were like, okay, well, since you're getting $100 million, are you still going to run pledge drives? And they were like, yes, we're still going to ask for money. I was hoping they wouldn't do it as much. And the PBS station in my area, they did well with the money, though. I'm not going to lie. They expanded their news service, so they launched the local newscast, which was really cool. Because I'm in an area that's not serviced by Philadelphia, even though it's the Philadelphia market. The Philly stations don't cover us that well. We have an independent station that has a local newscast that's okay. But you know, to reinvest that money in the community and jobs, they hired like 10 reporters. That was really good. That's what you should do. You shouldn't just keep your mouth shut and, you know, say nothing and just say, oh, run a rescan to continue to get WGBH, and then your executives are making like $400,000. I'm like, that's not good, you know, especially when you're partially funded by taxpayers. Well, thanks for the feedback about the audio and the picture. I think it has to be due to my computer, and what I'm going to try to do next time, I'm going to have another live stream for you guys in the next like 2 weeks, is I'm trying to figure out if one thing, so for example, give me a second, I'm going to go dark. I just want to check something out. just hang tight with me for 1 second. I want to check some. Okay, so what I'm checking out, one of the things that I'm trying to figure out is I have like my camcorder hooked into a converter, and yeah, that's my brother right there. I have a camcorder hooked into a converter, and I think that converter alone is taking up computer usage. So if I get a good webcam, I wouldn't have that, you know, that extra computer usage that would have to be used, and as a result, the video would be less choppy. And one thing I'm gonna find out right now, we're gonna find that out. Just give me a second. Let me go see if I can put on the webcam, because this will give me an idea. Video capture device. I don't know if I can add the webcam. I accidentally deleted it. Sorry, I'm talking to myself, guys. I'm just trying to figure out, like while I'm doing it, if the one webcam would be video capture device and existing. No, that can't be it, because that is capture. I'll have to figure out next time. But I think that might make the live streams a little bit more smooth and stuff. But anyway, I'm gonna end the stream because I've been talking too long and my mouth is starting to get dry. I do appreciate you guys for joining me tonight, and hopefully it won't be as choppy the next time. It's stuff I'm still trying to figure out in terms of, you know, minimizing the computer usage and getting the video as smooth as possible. So, all right, thank you all so much. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll keep you posted on what I'm working on YouTube. And again, I really appreciate your support. Let me know if you have any other ideas for the channel and things you guys would like to see. See you guys later.